Abraham Lincoln once said, "Don't interfere with anything in the Constitution that must be maintained, for it is the only safeguard of our liberty. And not to Democrats alone do I make this appeal, but to all who love these great and true principles." Again, quoted by Abraham Lincoln, or quote from Abraham Lincoln, rather. But let me read the preamble to the Constitution of the United States. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Now, the Constitution was written in 1787 by a delegation of our founding fathers, deciding how this country shall be ran and how our freedom shall be ensured. Now, a lot of the veterans, they themselves, or a lot of the founding fathers, they themselves either funded or took part in fighting for our independence from Great Britain. Now, I will also tell you this. Every generation of veterans has paid the price to keep our freedoms from the Revolution to the Civil War and all the way till now with the veterans of Afghanistan and Iraq on the global war on terror. Whether peacetime or wartime, there have always been a group of every generation, men and women, who have fought to keep our flag waving, our country established, and keep going in the freedoms in which this country is. It is free because of the brave. Now, we have a government with many people who want to tear apart the guarantees of our Constitution. They want to tear apart the Constitution so that they can be a totalitarian government. Because this paper that's over 200 years old ensures that America is a constitutional republic, which I and 4 generations, my family, and beyond, and every other veteran have fought to keep it that way, shall not and cannot become a totalitarian state. Now, many may disagree with me, but this is why every veteran memorial should be taken care of, and every veteran shall be respected. I don't care whether they fought in a war or they served during peacetime or served during the war. They have paid the price for our freedoms. They have sacrificed time, life, blood, injuries, you name it. And it's time we stop allowing our governments and our cities and our people, we stop allowing them to desecrate, vilify, and all manner of disrespect to our veterans who are gone. I mean, 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, veterans of World War I came back. Jobs are hard to find. Many had nerve damage. Many all types, from the exposure to the gas mask, all of that they experienced during World War One. And now every veteran has passed since. But our nation has forgotten those who answered the call then. And the same with the Civil War. The Civil War did more than just divide the states over slavery. The Civil War divided their hearts, divided families. But in the wake of it, it united more this country than ever before. Or you rather united this country more than ever before. Because many were willing to fight to preserve the union, to make it a more perfect union. Than rather let states divide because of one issue or many issues, though slavery being the main issue. Now, I'm not condoning slavery, I'm not condoning racism. What I'm saying is, not everybody that fought in that war, not everybody fought there for slavery or against slavery. I fought mainly because their states asked them to. They had loyalties to their home states, or they had loyalties to this great country. But now we let people desecrate those monuments and the things where none of us, if the Civil War didn't happen, if people weren't brave enough to fight for the right, we would not have an America nor an American freedoms which we shall enjoy now. We'd have two Americas, actually. But if we didn't have people go and fight in World War I and World War II, we'd either be speaking German or Japanese. Or we'd be getting controlled by communists. If people didn't fight in Korea, Vietnam, communism would be all over this world. Fascism, or fascist, Marxism, you name it, whatever, would be all over this country, all over this world. If we didn't fight the terrorists over in Afghanistan and Iraq, or if we didn't fight Saddam Hussein in the 90s when he invaded Kuwait, Al-Qaeda would be blowing up our streets today. They already knocked down towers 20 years ago. And they put a big hole in the Pentagon. But imagine way worse if we were to allow them, just like we have allowed Antifa to destroy our cities. So I'm saying it's time, all of it, wake up. And let's remember those who won the battle. As I said in my previous name, many of them answered the call and left their quiet places, wherever their homes, left their girls or whatever the case was. And some of them left men, left their children so that they could fight, so that their children would enjoy, and their grandchildren and great-grandchildren, or however so be it. I'm calling all Americans this coming Veterans Day to have a rally. Come back to clean up Memorial, battlefield, whatever the case is. Go visit the battlegrounds and see for yourself what freedom costs, because freedom isn't free. Now I'm on a rant, because if we forget the cost that men and women have paid over the years, over the generations, so that people can have freedom. The freedoms which immigrants of the past have sought far and wide, and many come to seek opportunity that is guaranteed in America for all. Now, racism is not inherited. People will try to tell you that. People will try to tell you that cops and police veterans are villains, but they're not. And what I'm trying to tell you is this. In every war, it wasn't just whites fighting. There were blacks, there were natives, or Native American Indian, whatever you want to call them. There were immigrants from Ireland, Germany, or whatever, people that spoke all different languages that have fought for the flag of the United States of America, but also fought for the United States of America. Many have served in the military to get their citizenship. Now let me tell you this. Let's not stand by idle anymore and let crazy leftists try and tell us and dictate how we ought to live our lives. Because let me ask you, the same people that want to tear down Harriet Tubman and Ulysses S. Grant and Abraham Lincoln and all those others ought to tear down Andrew Jackson, who was a bigot and a racist, but they won't, because he was the father of the Democrats. And they ought to tear down Nathan Bedford Forrest and remove those names from federal buildings. I'm a Hans 57 mutt. And I'm proud of what all the ancestors in my family and all the mixing. There is no country, there is no race, there is no bloodline, there is no anything that is greater than another, except God Almighty. But I will tell you this, in America, we have believed and we still believe all men are created equal by God and under God. Let's fight against the CRTs. Let's fight against the forgetting and the maltreatment toward veterans of past generations, as well as the current veterans that are still alive. Whether it's Korea, Vietnam, or maybe there's some still alive that's from World War II. Till now. Because we're going to say, this is my country. These are my freedoms. And we're going to fight to keep them. But we're going to live them. We're gonna live and work and fight for the opportunities as God giveth and God takes away. Don't let the government try to take our freedom away. Otherwise, all those veterans who have died in the wars or after the wars from the complications from injuries of war have all died in vain. Or the 4 presidents who were assassinated while in office have died in vain. Or others like Martin Luther King who have fought to make America better have died in vain.